Hey everyone, JT Goose here, and today I'm going over the 7th season of TCCG series Around the World. This takes place in various countries around the world. There's a total of 6 different districts, 5 cases per district. I have United States, Germany, Great Britain, France, Russia, and the United States once again. It also takes place in the year 2019, and there are currently no key city figures that were listed in the wiki. As far as team members and alliances go, I didn't see anything on the wiki. However, it will be noted that there are team members and alliances that we'll see throughout the season, so that's just something I'm going to have to go over. The thing I notice about this season is that it focuses a lot on district stories, rather than individual cases, so there's going to be a lot more plot structure and a lot more plot writing that I'm going to go over, so this review might take a little bit longer than the other ones. But without further ado, let's do this. So starting off with District 1, I think the big focus is about terrorism and kind of just Bridget looters coming in, saving the day, helping this district out. So the first case alone, Alexander is our first victim, which I think is a great way to start off a season. Not just something basic or dull, but just getting straight into the action. And then, yeah, I mean, once again, case 5, another supposed terrorist. Once again, Bridget comes in, helps us out. I do think cases 1, 2, and 5 are great additions that kind of add story to what's happening in this district. I think cases 3 and 4 are more individualized, which isn't a bad thing. It just fell a little bit off with the plot. But yeah, I mean, great opener overall. Starting off with case 6, I am kind of indifferent about it. I do think it's a decent motive, but I'm not really too big of a fan of like relationship style cases. It's just a little broad and doesn't really add too much to the plot. However, case 7 definitely does. We see that with the whole motive and the whole what happens during this case. There was an assassin that was trying to kill Gus, and what happens is that the assassin accidentally kills his twin brother Hans instead of Gus. Love the motive, great case, and actually I really do think it adds on to the plot, as we'll see going into District 3. Case A, case 9, I said solid case. Again, I think killing like bad managers and bad CEOs, I think that's a really cool concept, and I like that TCCG incorporated that into case 9. And then case 10, probably out of all the motives that TCCG has done between this season and last season, I think this so far is my favorite motive. I love that during this, Gus is basically paid to protect Wilhelm from any assassins. And the funny thing is that Gus takes the money from Wilhelm and basically says, listen, I'll protect you. But then the funny thing is that there's another assassin that actually pays Gus to kill Wilhelm. And so Gus takes, if you're following along, Gus takes Wilhelm's money and says, I'll protect you. And then he takes the assassin's money and says, I'll kill him. He ends up killing Wilhelm, takes his money, and also takes the assassin's money. So kind of a cool concept there. I just like how clever Gus is with this. He gets double the reward by doing the same task, and I just think it's a 200 IQ play on his part. Absolute genius. And just when you think Gus's amazing storyline ends there, it doesn't. There's a whole next district that we focus on, which is District 3. Immediately, Gus ends up ratting out the person that he was, who hired him. His name was Bruno Arnstein, which by doing this, Gus not only is now free from his latest murder charge, but now he also gets to keep the money he's dealt with. So, I mean, yeah, the guy's unstoppable. What are you going to do about it? Case 11, not too much happening here. I wrote down it was just a bit dull. Definitely could have added a little bit more thicker motive, I guess is the right word. Same with the murder weapon. Case 12, again, also basic, not really adding too much to the plot. And then case 13, out of nowhere, just introduces a bunch of things that we, as the group overall, have not seen before. We figure out that there's a victim, John Doe, who is a part of our team, which going into this, our team was completely nameless. There wasn't a single person. Now all of a sudden, John Doe is a part of our team. He serves as the lab chief. One of our suspects is Becca Doe. She is the coroner. And then Blake Coleman is an informant. All of these people serving as a part of our team. And yeah, I mean, great thing all around. I do wish that these team members were introduced sooner rather than later. It is kind of weird knowing at case 13 instead of the beginning, but it's whatever. Case 14, cool case. I mean, it's a casino case, but once again, I'm still looking for the motive or like some sort of plot that adds on to what this district is trying to represent, which is mostly supposed to be about Gus and trying to figure out what's he all about. So nothing really too much here. But then case 15 hits, great motive and great finish to the district. We finally see the demise of Gus and his ultimate creator, who really was the mastermind behind him. Great stuff there. Great way to finish the district. And like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite districts because it's kind of tying in District 2 with District 3 and kind of seeing what path Gus is going to choose and kind of how he crumbles apart. Now that we're halfway done with the season, I'm moving on to case 16. 16 and 17, very similar. I do like them because they do add on to this whole district's like main focus, and that's wealth. We learn that there's this guy named Pascal, and he is just this billionaire, but we don't know why. We will figure it out later, but for now, this guy's just a billionaire, and we're all suspicious. Case 18 hits. I will say I am starting to get a little bit bothered by the amount of relationship-related cases there are. I think it's starting to become a little bit repetitive. We've seen this earlier in the season. I wrote down cases 6 and case 4 where just similar plot, similar motive. Doesn't really add too much to this specified plot. It's fine. It's just becoming a little bit repetitive. If you wanted to include something that wasn't related to like a plot, I think it could have been different than relationships, because once again, I've seen it all throughout the season. And then case 19 hits. Very weird. We're in like this wealth district, so all of a sudden we go to a gym for one of the cases, which doesn't seem very wealth-like. And then on top of that, I think the motive was weird too. They killed D. Jefferson in order to bring attention to the gym. Supposedly the gym owner wasn't having enough attention with his gym. It was losing business, so he thought that committing a murder would boost, I guess, his popularity. But, I mean, once again, I mean, it's a bit goofy. It's a little bit goofy. It's not very realistic. And then case 20 hits, just like every other district. I feel like these district finales are really hitting on point, and they're really finishing what the district is all about. We see that Pascal, as well as this other guy, dies. I think the vault is one of the best murder weapons of this season, not just because of what it is, but what it symbolizes. This whole wealth district having a vault as a murder weapon, I think is really nice. And we don't learn too much more about everyone, including Pascal. The only thing we do hear rumors about is Pascal doing shady deals with a weird, mysterious guy that we'll get to very soon, known as MP. We don't know what this guy is. He just has a mask on. He's creepy. He's weird. We'll learn about him soon. So District 5 focuses on a cult that is revolving around in Russia. A lot of these cases focus on the cults and kind of the cult members and kind of what's happening and why this is an issue. Case 21, we already see that Gregory is killed inside of this cult, so great motive all around, great add-on. And I also gotta love Kim. He is so drenched out of his mind. I get it. I know he's labeled as a stowaway, so there are reasons why he looks like this, but I don't know. Great attention to detail, TCCG. Love it. Case 22, once again, continues the plot of Gregory, which we haven't actually seen a lot of. We haven't seen a lot of murder cases where the case gets moved on to the next case, so this is kind of a good, I don't want to say add-on because I've said it 50 times, but addition. It's a great addition. So yeah, just kind of adds on to case 21. Case 23, I don't know how I feel about it. It's a suspicious motive if you look right here. I don't know. I kind of feel like Kim is not saying the full story. We'll never know, but can't trust him. Can't trust the sweaty boy, all right? Case 25, I love this case. If you look on the TCCG YouTube channel, you'll see that this is actually the second most popular video with 7,300 plus views, so very impressive. The only issue I really have with this case is just Father Lisos and his brother. Both of these people never appeared before. I was really hoping that with this district finale we would see maybe a recurring victim or a recurring killer, but instead we just have two randos that we've never seen before. But still, I mean, it's still a great motive. It's just like the other districts. Great finish to a district, probably one of the best. For this final district, we finally get to see who is the mastermind behind all of the chaos that's been being unfolded. If you've looked at other districts, we've seen issues around the world, and although they all seem separate in their own ideas, we learn this district that they're actually all tied to one person. By the end, we're also going to figure out who this man is, so let's jump right into it. Case 26, our good friend Lily has been murdered. I haven't talked about Lily at all throughout this review, but she is one of the best recurring characters. I mean, she didn't play a huge role. She was just a chef. However, we do learn that after her murder that she was actually quite famous, quite popular. She traveled all around the world. And really, the thing that really upsets me about this case, though, is that the motive is kind of sad. There's this guy named Will. And the thing about Will is that he becomes very jealous of Lily. He sees how much better she is than him. For example, she's always on trips, she's always around the world, and he's just a barber, so I guess he just doesn't have any riz or any gains. So he kind of gets jealous, and he kills her because he's just not as good as her. I don't know, I guess hashtag haters gonna hate. Honestly, that guy just deserves life in prison because that girl rock and rolled. She did not deserve death like that. Case 27, good motive. We really do get to see that MP really is the main antagonist this season, and that this man is an issue. We still don't even know anything about his identity besides the fact that he's labeled MP, and also his weird quirky smile that will forever haunt me in my dreams. Case 28, again, same thing, focuses on this MP plot. Who is this MP guy? Don't know. Case 29, we see that our chief of police, Luke, died. I didn't even know we had a chief. Once again, this wiki, I know Bob told me to look through the wiki, but I mean, bro, how? I looked through the wiki, I didn't see anything. As soon as I saw case 29, it said Luke, whatever, our chief of police died. How was I supposed to know? But it's okay because case 30, finishes off this season on a high note. So unfortunately, Kirk Patterson, once again, never mentioned him, but he was a suspect who was seen all throughout kind of this season. He served more as a protagonist, so seeing him as a victim is kind of upsetting, but it's all right. So we learned that Alfred was actually friends with Kirk Patterson, but the crazy thing is that this guy, who's a movie director, was also friends with MP. Now, who's MP? His name is actually Mike Patterson. So it turns out this movie director was friends with Mike the whole time and basically was with him for everything. So when you include the religion issues in Russia or the wealth with Pascal, even going as far as to say that Gus was involved with it too, in his whole goal to actually eliminate the team that we never knew about until halfway through the season. It's really cool to see all the districts play a role this season. Even with last season, Futuristic Visions, I never really saw that. I felt like all the districts had a similar goal in mind, and that was kind of just royalty between the king and the queen of America. However, with this district, it's more individualized, but in a better sense. It's not just individual cases, it's more like individual districts, and those districts play a final role in case 30. So I love the build-up. I think this is TCCG's best work yet. And I mean, motives can be all over the place. They always are. I actually do think that this is also the best the motives have ever been too, despite a few ones that are really terribly written. I'm sorry, TCCG. It just, some of them are unforgivable. Some of the weaker points to this season can include things such as repetition with some of the cases. I do think a lot of the middle of the districts usually seem to be kind of the weaker points that didn't really focus on the motives. It did feel a little formulaic at times. I think the team should have been introduced way before. And it's just kind of hard for someone to kind of grasp onto who are we allying with, who's our team, and kind of that sort of thing. But those are really the big issues. Like I said, I think this season nails it when it comes to plot structure and plot writing. I feel like TCCG is really starting to look at building a season rather than just throwing random cases into a season. I enjoy all the chaos that unfolds. It's not a super duper original idea as we've seen with Criminal Case Save the World. This is a very similar idea, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Now we're going to go on to TCCG's achievements of this season, so kind of like the highlights. First off, we'll start with the character highlights. We have Lily, Ryan, Mike, Blake, Pat, Sylvia, Alfred, Kim, Joseph, Lucas, Pascal. I have Bernette, Gus, Tyler, Wilhelm, Bridget, and Will. Out of all of these characters that I listed, I think the best character is going to go to Gus. I just love how smart he is for the first half of this season. Like I said, I think his motive in Case 10 is so freaking smart. His twin brother getting killed I thought was also really unique, and kind of just this greed that comes on him. He does this assassination thing so many times that eventually gets the better of him, and thus he meets his demise. He's a really good written character. I enjoyed him, and I think this is one of TCCG's best characters to date as of Season 7. As far as the Golden Chainsaw goes, I'm going to give it to Case 7 with the sniper shot to the forehead. Just, you gotta love snipers. They're fun. It might be sniper bias. I just like snipers in general. They're cool. Dull Machete will go to Case 2 with the USB-C kit. The MLCA award is going to go to Case 9, Chapter 1. And with that, cool season, fun stuff. Adds a lot more that I've seen in the past. And with this, I'm going to give it a decent 7 on this one. Nothing too much to add. It just raised my expectation bar, and I'm looking forward to see what TCCG is going to bring out in the future, considering that he has improved this much in just the span of 7 seasons. So Good job, TCCG. I'm JT Goose. Adios.